Okay. Do you see the request button, Gregory? I think I'm gonna have to do it from my iPhone. Yeah, I do apologize. Hold on just a second here. Gregory, do you see it on do you see it come up? All right, you all, this is what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to stop this Facebook Live on my computer, and I'm gonna actually have to move it over to my iPhone, because that's the only place where it's actually letting me send him a request so that he can join me in this conversation with you all for this broadcast tonight. Okay, so I do apologize. I don't mean to take up any of you guys' time, but I'm gonna end it now, and you should see another Facebook Live, and it's gonna be coming from my iPhone. All right, guys. So bear with me here.
I see it now.
You see me?
I do.
You're all turned sideways. I don't know. I gotta kind of got.
Am I sideways?
Yeah, I gotta turn.
What about now?
All right. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, I have been sick, so I feel a whole lot better.
Uh-oh. I'm glad you're better.
Hey, I made it. I made it. All right.
I
So
know that's right.
we have okay, I have them on my iPhone. I had to actually stop it on my computer. I have a little Chromebook, and it wasn't acting right. I probably need to update it. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, Gregory. Everybody, I want to thank you all for chiming in tonight for our broadcast. As you all know, I'm Coach Miles. I'm a love, dating, and relationship coach. I'm on a hardcore mission to help women find the love, the true love that lies within. And what you have in the inside will come out. You know, and it'll help you get the love that you deserve, the love that you've been looking for. I'm also fighting for more people to stay in relationships, and not just stay in relationships, but healthier relationships. And so, and I've been on this journey for a while, and it's quite interesting that a lot of people are hurting, and we never get down to the real reasons of why we're hurting.
Right.
But hopefully, Gregory and I tonight can actually give you some information that's going to be beneficial towards establishing a relastablishing All right, Greg. So I told him it's levels to this ish. It's levels to this relationship thing. This three stages to a relationship. I know you have your three. I was actually looking at some videos from the event that I did back in the men's panel. Oh my goodness. And I was so tickled. It was so funny. And if you want to get started with explaining your three levels, and then I can chime in with my three levels. It's kind of like the same, but mine are different, just a little bit different.
Right. Sure. I always believe in a theory I call fellowship, friendship, relationship. And I just believe that we often meet new people and we jump right into being romantic right off the bat. And you haven't fellowship, so you're not friends, but now you're in a relationship. And you would think, people who are over 30 years old, you would think that sometime we wouldn't do things like meet somebody on January 1, but then on January 21, we're in a relationship. I'm like, who do that? But we do this, and then we get our heart broken, feelings are played with, boundaries are crossed, and we end up in bad situations sometimes. And then you have, a lot of women who are saying, good men are hard to find.
Right.
And you have men who are saying, well, women don't appreciate good men. But the truth of the matter is, good men and good women have been hurt so much that when they meet each other, they are afraid of each other.
That's right.
I think it's all traced back to, when you meet somebody, fellowship with this person and figure out if you can be their friend. If we can go from fellowship to friendship, then it's in the friendship zone. See, we've been taught by society to avoid the friend zone. Run from the friend zone. If you're friend zone, that's the end all be all. No, it's not. The truth
Right.
of the matter is, anybody who's successfully married will tell you, this is my best friend. Well, how do you marry your best friend if you are avoiding the friend zone?
Right.
My thing is, at the end of the day, in the friend zone, I learned to love you. You know what I'm saying? And even if things should progress, I can learn in the friendship zone even how to be your lover once we start having conversations about moving forward.
Right.
But if you haven't established the foundation of friendship, why are you in a relationship? And I think that, because we don't think about things in a rational manner, we tend to be feeling driven. And when you're feeling driven, you make irrational choices. And I think if we slow this thing down and take this thing step by step and stop making the goal because somebody cute, you want to be in a relationship. My thing is, the world is full of cute people. My best friend is a beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? But she's my friend. She's married now, but we were friends for years while she was single. No boundaries were ever crossed. But if we could learn again how to fellowship, friendship, relationship, things would be a lot better for us.
Right. Right. I completely agree with you. My 3 stages would be is the getting to know. Number 1 is the getting to know stage, the research stage, kind of like scoping out, peeping game, peeping the picture stage, asking questions. Most of all, that's the stage where you're gonna ask questions to see if you can build a friendship with this person.
Right.
And I know
Right.
you mentioned something like that too, where you're having conversations, and if that woman just not talking like you want her to talk, there's no need to even go on any more dates, or no need to really go on a date or to even try to establish that friendship. And
Exactly.
that's the same thing, that I said, that you're trying to see if this person is relationship material, friendship material,
Right.
if they're ready, So in that stage of getting to know, you're actually building up a little bit of trust for that friendship, building up,
Right.
for that
Exactly.
relationship. And then, step 2 is you establish that friendship. You're going to grow
Right.
into that relationship stage. You're building that trust. It's like building up equity. You're building a little bit of a foundation for a relationship.
Right.
And now when you do, so that's kind of like friendship relationship type, but the friendship starting, and once it gets deeper, it's going to fall into that relationship. So now
Right.
the 3rd stage is you're at that relationship, and it's going to kind of, because we're all, if you're dating, you're probably dating to, hopefully you're dating to one day get married. So that friendship
Right.
is going to fall into a marriage. And the relationship you're building up, you're laying bricks, you're working towards something everlasting. And
Yeah.
people skip stages. Let's talk about people skipping stages.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the first stage normally gets overlooked, where you're actually getting to know someone. I like to say that you cannot get to know someone if you are sexually active with them. If you are pushing sex, because so many people, they want to know if they can relate to someone sexually. It's all about
Right.
the sex game. It's all about what goes on in the bedroom. You cannot think
Right.
clearly if you're having sex with someone, because now
Right.
you've deepened that. It's like you've tapped into emotions that may not even be there, because all that,
Right.
it's like a physical thing. You get what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that sexual.
I do.
And when it comes to women, I heard Steve Harvey say something years ago. He said that sex is more meaningful to women because the man is actually going inside of the woman. The man,
Right.
after sex, he gets up, he washes himself away. I mean, he washes himself off. It's like washing off the emotions. He go ahead by his business. But the woman is stuck with those emotions in the inside of her. It's not something
Right.
that we can get rid of. And they're rushing into that sex, thinking that
Right.
it's going to establish that relationship. So they
Right.
breathed into the getting to know stage, the fellowship, skipped over the friendship, and they
Right.
that once they get into a relationship, they're going to build onto a friendship that's backwards. Because it's
Right.
people now,
Very much so.
and they're not even friends.
Right. Right. They hate each other.
So what do you have to say about that?
I totally agree with you. You talk about when that boundary of sex is crossed. My thing is this, I don't know what faith everybody is, but this is not even so much an overly spiritual statement than a practical one. yeah, if those who believe in God know what God says about sex before marriage, but what we don't do is examine the why. You know what I'm saying? And even for Christians, sometimes there are practical reasons why you should not have sex before marriage. The practical reasons are one you just mentioned about the whole emotions, but you can get attached to somebody.
Right.
You got your dopamine levels are off the chart when you know what I'm saying because so that means that you're feeling this whole in love thing,
Mm-hmm.
which ain't even really about love. It's just about your emotions and your feelings. So when you feel like you're attached to somebody, it becomes very hard for you to step back once things go sour because your emotions tell you this is the one. My thing is good sex can make a bad relationship go too long.
That's
And the truth of the matter is the older that we get, we should learn that lesson. But it's almost like we're naughty by nature, so we want what we want when we want it.
right.
We don't think about the repercussions behind that. These boundaries are getting crossed. And it is not that good men or good women are hard to find. What's hard to find is good choices. And that is what people don't look at. Our choices are horrible because what we don't look at is the process.
Right.
We see the product that we're getting, but what was your process in getting that product? And we don't want to check us. We just want to blame it on James or blame it on Janae. Oh, they weren't ready. No, you weren't ready.
Right. And you said something that stood out. You said we want what we want when we want it. And that's
Mhm.
that's part of the problem.
Yeah,
Our wants over our needs in a
yeah,
relationship. And even looking for someone to be in a relationship with, you put all these things that you want. You never hit on
right,
what you really need. Because if you focus
right,
more on what you needed in a partner, what you
right,
need in a relationship, those wants would
right.
probably go out the door. But
Hello?
you can't, yeah, but you so focused on those wants. It's like we all need somewhere to stay. We all need a roof over our head.
Right,
Yeah, but
right,
we want this 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom. We gonna get this 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, and we can't afford it. We're
right,
broke. We barely eating. We're working sun
right.
up and down, and we're barely even laying our head there at that 5-bedroom house. It's the same thing
Go.
when you don't understand your needs above your wants.
Yeah.
You get stuck in something that is gonna bring pain, and that's when you start hollering, "He was no good." This and that. He would, like you said, he wasn't ready. No, it wasn't that he wasn't ready. You didn't know what you needed in that relationship, and that's another reason
Exactly.
bad choices too. We do make bad choices. We make bad choices when, like I said, when you start going with those wants over those needs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see what else I got here. I like to talk. I like to use relationships. I like to use the example of the 3 little pigs, Greg. You remember those
Okay.
little pigs? You had the first 2
Yeah.
pigs. They was ready to build that house. They was
Right.
all up together because what they wanted to do, they wanted to party. They wanted to build their house and they wanted
Right.
to party. But you had that third
Right.
little pig who took his time, strategically
Mm-hmm.
his bricks, because he knew when a storm came, he needed to survive after that storm. So when the big bad wolf came, he blew down those first 2 houses, but he could not
Right.
on that last house. It's because that last little piggy took his time with building his house. And if we
Right.
all would look at that as in relationship wise, take our time building a relationship. So when all of these things come towards us that we're faced with, we'll be able
Right.
to make it last. But so many people are
Right.
in a rush to build up a relationship and because they're ready to play house pretty much.
Right.
That's what they're doing. They're ready to play house, and then you get something come through. Somebody said they seen him somewhere, they seen her doing something. Now you're ready to leave them. You didn't build that solid foundation like you should.
Right.
And that's part of the 3 stages of relationship. You don't even know if this person is even suitable for a friendship or a
Right.
relationship because you're too busy. You skip those steps or you live those steps short term and went straight to a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let me see if we have any
I
questions.
mean,
You all, do we have any questions? Greg, I'm unsure what you can see. What can you see?
I don't see any questions on my end. I see comments, but not questions.
Comments, okay. Because I know we have like a delay with Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Someone said you're ready to jump and be married and don't have a clue, and that's true. And I remember you mentioning something as I was looking through the videos about a relationship blueprint, and I have been studying that for the last couple of weeks. A lot of people don't have that blueprint.
No, they don't.
Because they
don't.
were raised in a house where and I know we're probably getting off topic from the 3 levels of relationships, but you know that's my thing. I love it. I love it. So if you want to go ahead and give them just a little piece of that relationship blueprint on your end, from your perspective.
Well, my thing is, when you talk about these old blueprints, like you wouldn't go build a house without a model of what you're trying to build.
That's right.
And you got people who are jumping into relationships and they have no clue what they're doing. They have no clue how to interact with a woman or a man. They have no clue the direction they want to go. They don't know the end goal of the relationship. My thing is, I understand that there are people who are at points in their life where marriage might not be your end goal, and I respect that.
Right.
But what is your end game? And my thing is, ships are designed to take you somewhere. And if you're going to be in this relationship, where is it going? And my thing is that there are many people who know where they want to go, but they enter a relationship and don't discuss with that person where they wanted to go.
Right.
And you have a lot of women, especially, who are with men, and this man is supposed to be the captain of your ship, the relationship, but he ain't driving it. But you stand in the passenger seat with this idiot, and you're letting him take you, around the runway, but he ain't never landing. Then 4 years from now, you still upset because he ain't take the ship nowhere. But the question you ask yourself is, why didn't you abandon ship? Because we waste time. We're not getting any younger. We say we're old, they can change. Anybody can change. The question is, will you?
Right.
And once you get past a certain age, change is less likely to happen. But we don't want to be honest and just sometimes abandon the ship. Nobody wants to start. I don't want to start over. Start over. What do you have to start with? You have nothing. You're not feeling fulfilled. You're not happy. You're miserable. You on the phone with your girlfriends.
Right.
Girl, he done this to me now. You telling them every other day to call Tyrone and get his stuff, but you staying with him. So I think sometimes the attraction for some people, you mentioned a minute ago about sometimes the home life, what it came from, not being in order and being dysfunctional. The truth for some people is your attraction is dysfunctional relationships.
Right.
That's why you keep entering them and you stay there. Like you don't know how to function in a functional relationship. So you gravitate towards dysfunction because abnormal is normal to you.
And you talked about being on that ship and letting him lead and not knowing where he's going. But had they taken their time in those 3 levels of the relationship, then they would have known that this man wasn't worth it wasn't worth even being on the ship with him because he doesn't know how to lead. But they're so on being in a relationship and being able to say that they have a man that they're following is not leading. And if you take your time and really get to know this person, ask these questions, like I said, there's levels to it, then you'll know if you're on the right on the right train or on the right ship, whatever. But I'm gonna share something with you. A few years ago on break, I went to Sonic and I pulled in and I got my food and I was eating. Well, it was 2 motorcycles parked beside me. So a man and a woman came and got on the motorcycles. He backed out and then he allowed her to move forward. Then he comes around her and he leads her around the building. And I can see them. I'm looking at them. I can see them.
Right.
So they're waiting for cars to pass. And then he goes and then she follows him. The only thing that I got out of that was that she was willing to trust him. He cleared the way for her. He led the way for her. And she followed him because she trusted him. And that's how it has to be in a relationship. With those 3 levels, you have to get with someone that you trust to lead. And that's what women don't understand. Like, you have to get with this man and trust this man and let this man lead. That's really and truly only how that's what I believe how a household is supposed to be ran, is that there is whoever it is that you're praying to is first.
Yeah.
It's the husband, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
the wife and the children, and everything else
Mm-hmm.
it will fall in place. But we have so many women that can't. They're with men that they can't trust. They know they can't trust this man, but they're with them for the sake of saying, "I have a man. I have a husband."
Yeah. You know what's wrong with some men in that regard? You know, a lot of men, the level that they want to be on is the level that says, you submit to me. I am over you. That's where a lot of men rest, rule, and abide is in that. When they have a total misunderstanding about marriage and submission. The Bible says that husband and wife submit to one another as unto Christ. And when you keep reading, then it says, wives, submit to your own husbands. But if you keep studying the word, it'll also tell you that the model for a husband was seen in what Christ did for the church. Christ sacrificed for the church. Christ died for the church. Therefore, God said, husbands, love your wife like Christ loved the church. So what a lot of men don't realize is that her submitting to you is not simply about obedience. It is about obedience, but the other half is about trust. And you just said it. The reality is effective leadership is not about standing over you and ruling over you.
Right.
To be an effective leader, you've got to actually get underneath who you serve and push them up. Because the truth of the matter is, when you look at if Jesus is the example for a husband, Jesus had a level of submission to the church because Jesus died for the church. Therefore, he had to get under the church and push the church up. And that's what a lot of men don't realize. You have to humble yourself, submit yourself also to push your wife up. And even as somebody's boyfriend in a relationship, if that's not your mindset, and you want a Christian marriage, I'll say, then you have totally missed the boat if you don't think that you have to have a level of submission to your wife and get up under her and push her up like Christ did for the church.
Right. And I think, like you said, that's where a lot of people fail because they're looking for that submission. And they have to understand, they kind of like have to get some type of understanding of what submission means.
Yeah.
You know what submission means. And then I don't want to put it like this, but it is what it is. When it comes to Black women and you start talking about submitting, we don't think about, what it is in the Bible. You say submit. What you trying to get me to do? Right. You trying to be my boss? Right. You can't tell me what to do, blah, 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 blah. Because you don't have that level of understanding there. And that goes back to the 3 levels of a relationship. That's that friendship. Yeah. If you build onto that friendship, then you'll know when it comes to that relationship, how is everything supposed to fall in place. Ask questions. Do your research, your scouting. Like I said, the people in the picture and in the scene, and just really seeing if that person is even worth submitting to. Because we have women out here submitting to men that they shouldn't even be submitting to. And he's got them doing all kinds of things to show that they love him, to show that him. Show that him. So I spoke with, and something else you said, you said too, about men submitting to the wife to push her up. Like I said, I was looking back at those videos, and Prince said something as well. He said, whatever you put into a woman will magnify 100,000, a million. That's right. And a lot of our men have failed to do that and realize that if you can empower your woman, what you're giving put into her, it's going to magnify a million times more. But how can our men, where do they get that from? How do they know how to do that? Because like we talked about, they're not emotional people. So how can we get those men to become emotional people? What can we do, Greg? Because we're still sticking, let me let the people know, we're still sticking on the 3 levels of relationships. So everything that we're talking about is dealing with finding out if this person, you can move along to the next level of the relationship with this person.
Yeah. To speak to your question about men and emotions, in order for a man, first of all, to even get to the place of being vulnerable, I'm going to say that word, vulnerable, is that a man has to forget what he was taught when he was 4 years old. When he was 4 years old and he fell and got hurt, his father said, get up, Be tough. Don't cry. You know, and that has crippled a lot of men because we learn at 4 years old it is not okay to cry. It is not okay to show signs of weakness. It's not okay to be emotional. So you have men today in these relationships where they're trying to undo something that they've been taught how to do for 20 or 30 years. And I think sometimes what women don't realize is that you're raising your children, well, your sons, to be what you hate that your man is like. You don't like that your man is so hard and so closed up and won't show emotion and won't be vulnerable. But you telling little Johnny to be just like that, because when he feels some type of way, you tell him suck it up and be a man. The truth of the matter is being a man ain't about being hard. It's about being real. You know what I'm saying? And I think that what we don't do, what a lot of men don't do, is get past that thing of not wanting to be vulnerable. Because the truth of the matter is this: men, when they really, really love a woman, will get to the place, I should say, of loving a woman, they are afraid sometimes of how they feel. That's why they don't communicate it. You think about it. The only thing that your man does not want to tell you is stuff that might make him feel some type of way or might put him in a position of looking a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? And to succumb to those vulnerable feelings, we don't know what she's going to say, how she's going to feel, how she'll look at me, because we have never done this before. And unfamiliar territory for a man can be a scary place. And because we're not conditioned to deal with our emotions, to deal with our sensibilities, we don't. That's why men give short answers sometimes. How you doing? Fine. we give those short answers because we don't want to deal with all the emotions that came with the day, because we're not conditioned that way.
Right. And I think that's because somebody asked the question, what is the importance of being friends in a relationship? And I think that once you figure out you that getting to know period or whatever, and you start building that foundation for that friendship, a lot of men, if you're open and you it's kind of like giving them that key to unlock. They'll start telling you things because now they trust you. Right. You've taken your time to get to know them. Now they trust you. You're building on that friendship, and a lot of men will open up, but you have to make it comfortable for them to open up. You know, and that's part of that getting to know phase, part of that fellowshipping phase.
You're exactly right.
So, and now they'll open up. But a lot of women, they push in the beginning, asking a lot of questions. And a lot of men, they don't like to be asked a lot of questions. Now, I can say that getting to know stage, it is kind of like an interview stage, but you don't have to sit face to face and ask a bunch of questions, you know, because that's going to run, you know, that will run them out. But getting to know them, building that trust up to create that friendship, and then that's going to open up doors, and he's going to trust you to start telling you certain things, you know, and then that will determine if some of the things that he shared with you, if you can't go into a relationship with him, if you can't go to the next level with him, if it's only going to be on a friendship level, you know, so they definitely have to take their time in a relationship and stop skipping over that fellowship stage, stop pushing over that getting to know phase in a relationship. That's like one of the most important stages of all. You jump into a relationship and then you figure out, oh, he got problems. Oh, she got problems. I can't deal with this, you know, but you didn't know from the get-go, you know. So I'm going to see if we got some questions here to answer. Someone asked, how long is too long to wait on someone? Now, remember, we're talking about the 3 levels of relationships now.
Well, here's my thing. I don't think that you should ever wait on anybody.
There you go.
You know, because my thing is, if we're friends, I'm not waiting on you. If friendships transition, you know what I'm saying, to be something greater, doesn't have to be romantic. It might be, but my thing is, as people, we evolve. So social relationships and friendships have to evolve. So my thing is, if we're friends, right, and it's been, let's just say, 3 months. Well, we're still friends. If I'm waiting on more, then I was never genuine in the beginning. if my focus is on friendship, I'm not waiting for you to be my girl. I'm just riding this friendship. If it should be more, then it will be more. But I wanted to make a quick point about this whole conversation thing. Women, if your man is not talking to you, I would suggest this. Have you unloaded your weapon? And that's that mouth. There are a lot of women who try to have a conversation with their man, and you done loaded that gun up with with poisonous bullets. And this is why sometimes men don't talk. My thing is, if a man is not talking, ask yourself, as a woman, have I provided a safe platform for this man to speak? Because see, when a woman says, honey, can we talk? It's always about what he is not doing. But a man does not always have the same whatever to be able to say the same thing to you. Honey, can we talk? Because if you tell a woman what you don't like about her, whoo, you got a problem on your hands.
And you know what?
And that's why men sometimes don't talk.
It is so funny because I listen to the radio going to work, and one person said, I think it's some comedians. They said, black women always know somebody else that likes something. You know,
yeah.
And when you don't want to listen, I know somebody else that like it. When a man starts telling you this is what I don't like about you, or you want him to be honest, tell me what you think, baby. But this is what I don't like. But I know somebody else that like it. So
Exactly.
You definitely have to watch what you put out. Like you said, those poisonous bullets.
Yes.
You say things that you really can't take back. I mean, and we go 100 miles per hour. And then that man says something that he's not being mean, he's being honest, but it's like is something that he wants us to work on and correct. It is criticism, but he don't want it to be that, we're not good at taking criticism when you telling us we talk too much.
I'm glad you said that. Woo, girl.
Well, I know somebody that would love to talk to me. So when women feel like men are saying things to hurt their feelings, then that's when women shoot back to say something else to hurt his feelings. But what they don't know is once you've taken that to that level with that man and you've said that to him, it's deeper to him than it is to us. It's way
men are sensitive.
So you admit you guys are sensitive.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. Anything, men are naturally harder than women, like physically. And anything in nature that's hard on the outside is soft on the inside. It's protecting something. You know what I'm saying? You look at a grapefruit, a watermelon, pineapple, hard outside, soft on the inside. That's how men are. Men have to have this hard shell because they have a soft inside. Now you look at women. Women are emotionally strong. They can take a lot. You know what I'm saying? Men are not built that way. And I think that sometimes because women think that men are so hard or whatever, no, they're not. They're trying to be. And this hard exterior makes it easier for me to be, to show bravado or to act like things don't bother me because I have a hard shell. You don't have this. I do. Mm-hmm. But men need this too, because if a man is going to lead, a man needs to be able to take the brunt before the family does, to be able to soften the blow. So at the end of the day, we have a communication problem because we don't spend time talking before we get romantically involved. Mm-hmm. So I become romantically involved, cross these boundaries, and then try to figure you out. Can't do that.
Right.
I'm irrational. Once you have had sex, you're going to be irrational.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? If this is your spouse, then this is somebody that you can trust, that when I'm vulnerable, they can handle my vulnerability. But if it ain't your spouse, you don't know that.
Right. Right. You're definitely right. Definitely right. I have a question here. Someone said, is there an ideal time frame for each stage?
In my opinion, I would say no. I just believe that when you start putting time frames on stuff, then you become disingenuous. My thing is, again, if I meet someone tomorrow, right, a brand new person, my focus cannot be on, man, I feel like she might be a good wife for me. I don't know. I don't even know her. I know she cute. That's it. She got a big butt and a smile. Maybe she's poison. I don't know. So my thing is, if you see someone, don't worry about moving past the stage of fellowship initially, because you might not be this person's friend. You know, you do have those who are associates.
Right.
My thing is, if you are an associate, then you're going to stay in that fellowship zone, because I can't be your friend. But then you have those where you fellowship for a while. Now you have formed a friendship. Well, fine. So cruise on that friendship level and don't try to make things what they aren't. And don't worry about, well, man, we've been friends for 3 or 4 months. Okay. She might be just your friend. He might be just your friend.
Right.
My thing is, look, pay attention. How does this person talk to you? How do they make you feel? What do they talk to you about? You always know, if you're paying attention, if something could potentially be more. So don't be disingenuous, just pay attention. My thing is, you know, if you're having conversation with your friend, like your best friend knows all about you. They know how you feel, when you feel, how you feel about it, what you want to do, when you want to do it. Well, because you're paying attention. Same thing. If you're being genuine, and if you're being honest, and you're being open, if things should move to above friendship, you will know. And you just have the conversation. And if you're a man, do not be afraid to state your intentions.
Right.
If you feel like you want to explore more, tell her, and be open and be honest, and respect the fact that if she does not feel the same way, then you're still friends.
Right. I would definitely say that there's no ideal time frame for each stage. Because when you, like you said, when you start putting time on things, you start rushing as if you're running out of time. And with women, we do at times feel like we're running out of time because everybody around us are getting married. Everybody around us are having kids and things like that. Like, I'm almost 40 and I see people who've been married like what, 3 or 4 times. And I'm thinking, my goodness, in a sense, at first I was thinking, why haven't I been married again? Then it's like, well, wait a minute. They've been married 3 or 4 times already.
3 or 4 times.
You know, maybe I'm on the right track. You know, they're putting time frames like, I need to be married again before 40, things like that. But you start rushing when you start putting time frames on things. Now, but I do have this to add though, Gregory. Sure. I'm not too fond of people who've been in a relationship with someone, a committed unmarried relationship with someone for 20, 25, 30 years. I just think, I think the ultimate for me is marriage, is being somebody's wife and having someone as my husband. Not being boyfriend, girlfriend for 20, 30, 40 years. But that's just how I feel about things, you know, because my ultimate goal is marriage. And I feel like this, if you're in a relationship with someone for 5, 6, 7 years, almost 10 years, and you're looking to get married and they're not looking to get married, then somewhere in the levels of relationship, you miss something. Somewhere you miss something. You know, that's just crazy. And you don't have to remain in that relationship if someone doesn't want to marry and you do. You just have to start all over again. You know, but somewhere in those 3 levels of relationship you've missed that this person did not want to get married. You know,
you weren't paying attention.
What is he wanted to have the milk in the cow, or what is the old saying?
You can't. You want to have the milk drawn by the cow.
Start pulling back. You've been in this relationship with someone and it's not headed towards marriage. Start pulling back, and if he sees that I'm about to lose a really good woman, I'm about to lose my potential wife. He's going to want to marry you when you start pulling back. That's just my thought. You start back because you see that after 10 years, I'm not good enough to be your wife. Start falling back. Stop doing certain things. That man realizes, if he steps his game up and he realizes that I'm about to lose my potential wife, he's going to marry you. He's going to marry you. If he doesn't come for you, that doesn't mean that you're not worthy. That just means that he's going to miss out on some good stuff. You know, he's going to miss out on something. You go be a good wife to someone else and let someone be a good husband for you. Don't sit and give this man the rest of your life. Give him an unmarried wife for the rest of your life and the rest of his life and not be his actual wife. If that makes sense.
No, it makes perfectly good sense. I think that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm looking to see if we have any more questions.
I think that one of the biggest mistakes people make, and they're going to be those who disagree with this, but one of the biggest things that we do that we shouldn't do is that we date. Dating does not work, and I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't work.
Okay.
If you ask 100 people to define dating, you will get 100 different answers. So my thing is, when this person says, "Oh, we're dating," well, then she says, "Oh no, we're just friends." Well, someone else says, "Well, dating is a relationship." There's 3 different definitions.
Right.
My thing is this: either you're in a relationship or you ain't.
Right.
Plain and simple. I mean, my thing is, when you start trying to define things that really don't have are not kind of undefined, you start thinking what you're not. If I say that we're dating implies for some relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My thing is this: if I see a woman and I'm getting to know her, I'm going to say, have dinner with me Thursday or Friday. I'm not using the word date because dating has been misconstrued. Dating already places expectations that maybe you're not ready for. My thing is, why can't a woman and a man enjoy a meal and there be no strings attached? There's no room for anybody to be upset because next week he or she had dinner with somebody else. Well, so be it. Because we're not anything but I'm getting to know who this person is. And we are so quick to want to place ownership on stuff and to say that we are what we aren't. That's what's screwing this whole thing up. You got folks, "Oh yeah, we dating this person." No, we're not. Stop using that word and just say, "We're having dinner. We're going to the movies. We're going bowling." That's what it is. Because if not in a relationship, then you're not. If you are, you are. But when you people start placing relationship expectations on dating. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why I don't use the word. I just say, have dinner with me or whatever it is. And my thing is, expectations and standards is where folk get all discombobulated too. Because if we really had standards are not for you. They are for me. And my thing is, if I'm living in my own standard, then I reflect what I expect. I don't have to tell you what my expectations are of you because I'm living in my own standard, my own truth. So what I expect of you becomes what I am doing towards you. I don't have any business telling you what you need to be doing. No, what I need to be doing is defining who I am, living in my truth, living in my own standard. And folks are so busy, placing these expectations. I want this man to make 6 figures. He got to make 6 figures, but you don't make but $8.50 an hour. What's wrong with that picture? You know what I'm saying? You want this man to have X, Y, and Z, but you don't have A, B, and C. Right. So it's like we're having these unrealistic expectations because the truth of the matter is we are sometimes disqualified from our own expectations because we don't meet the expectations of our own expectations. So then we're disqualified from having expectations because we don't possess what we expect. So it's like, you got a lot of folk who think that they are what they are not.
Amen.
Like any man, I want a queen. I want God to send me my wife, but you ain't got no counsel to put that queen in. Something is wrong with that. And if a man does not transition to the right kind of thinking, and women too, then we're going to always be wanting things that we're ill-equipped to be able to handle. Sometimes your life is not suitable for any of the 3 levels because you can't even deal with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who you are. You can't deal with you. You always stressed out. You always depressed. You always walk around in a bad mood. You unfulfilled. Who wants to be with you? Nobody.
Right. When I would tell women I'm a love, dating, and relationship coach, that's the first thing they tell me is help me find a man. I said, well, yeah, I'm going to get you this great guy. But first of all, what we're going to do, I'm going to help you love yourself show you how to love yourself, how others are supposed
Yeah.
to love you, and how you are supposed to love other people. Because people out here rubbing
Right.
people the wrong way. And how you date
Hello.
yourself. I have no problem taking myself out to eat, eating alone.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. I don't have those issues, and then being in a positive relationship with yourself. Because if you're not in a positive relationship with yourself, you can't have a positive relationship with anybody else.
Hello.
But people don't understand that. But I wanna touch on some things. I was making some notes as you were talking. I want to touch on some things about dating and not dating. Like I said, somewhere in the 3 levels, something has been skipped or something has been ignored, and go back to that getting to know phase, skipping over it and going straight to being sexual. That's where that friends with benefits came in at, because now the only way that you're getting to know this person is sexually. That's it.
Right.
So when they want to see you, that's what they want to do. They want to have sex. When they're calling you at night, that's what they want. That's where that friends with benefits came in at. No, we're not dating. We're just having sex. Well, what are you trying to get out of just having sex with someone? You're looking for a relationship. In some women's minds, they're looking for a relationship. And this man only wants sex. In her mind, if I can give him enough sex, we are going to fall into a relationship. In her mind. And it doesn't happen. In her mind, it doesn't happen. And that's when you get started with the, he's no good. He ain't no good. And then now she's all ruined for the next fella. So then we'll talk about situationships. Once again, those 3 levels, something has been skipped. You find yourself in a situationship. You already know that this guy isn't any good for you, but instead, now you're in a situationship with him, don't know how to get out. You don't even know what's going on. That's how you get yourself put in a situationship. You know that this man has another woman. He's married. Now you're in a situationship, which probably would be the side chick position or whatever have you. So that's where all of this other stuff comes from, because they skip those 3 levels. They skip something in those 3 levels of the relationship.
Yeah. You got some ladies, believe it or not, who are trying to heal themselves in another man. That's why they allow themselves to, well, if he have sex with me, he loves me, because you have made the definition of love sex. So you probably did not receive the love from your father many times. So you have said to yourself, if this man gives me his body, I give my body to him, that's love. So you're trying to heal yourself in a dysfunctional situation. There are a whole lot. You know what? But some men are like that. Some men jump from woman to woman to woman to woman in different bedrooms trying to find themselves. They have been told the definition of a man is how many women you can sleep with.
Right.
They're trying to find who they really are, and they don't want to slow down and deal with who they really are. They're hurt. They're broken men who don't want to deal with their emotions, but all they do is satisfy their fleshly desires, and that becomes good enough to satisfy me in the moment. But you remain broken. You never get healed, because men can't deal with those emotions because they have not been trained.
And that's part of the relationship belief. And what society has placed on relationships. And we're not even going to start talking about television and what's being displayed on TV, what's put in people's head what a relationship is supposed to be about. When you talk about this man needs to make 6 figures or 7 figures, and you're only making $8.50, you're looking at these women on what is it? Real Housewives of Atlanta and
Atlanta.
Hip hop.
Yeah.
You see it? These women come from nothing, and they've been piggyback riding off of this man who made 6 figures, who made 7 figures, and he picked her up at a strip club, or he picked her up working as a waitress or whatever. And in their mind, in some women's mind, I can have that same thing too. Let me just set my standards way up here. Let me make myself look good and presentable. And he's gonna, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get this brother that made 6 figures. It has not dawned on her that this is television. And it just didn't happen like that. So I really think relationship beliefs, a lot of people need to tap into their relationships belief and where they're getting those beliefs from, which is part of television. And it's also the way people have been raised. If you've been raised by a woman who could not have a nurturing relationship with the man, and the only way she knew to have a nurturing relationship with the man was to give her body. That's what that daughter's gonna think. I have to give my body to this man. And then if you have a son and you don't have that successful relationship with the man, then what are you really teaching him? What you're teaching him is what, like you said, what you don't want in that man, but that's what you're showing in your, you're showing your son to be. So it's all about the relationships, beliefs, and how to break those down and rectify some of those problems and create different beliefs. But you have to get from around the things that are influencing you. Stop watching TV, ladies. Stop watching TV. If you are single and you are young, stop watching that television, because it's really it's really especially if you're influenced.
They want these fairy tales, and my thing is this: you can't save a damsel who loves her distress. You know what I'm saying? We talk about all these fairy tales, Snow White and Cinderella, all this stuff. Folk want the fairy tale. What people don't realize is that every fairy tale has a conflict. See, you want the happily ever after, but you don't want to deal with the conflict. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, you think about who was that? They had the fairy godmother and lost the slipper. You know what I'm saying? And Prince Charming fell in love with her at the ball because she was all dolled up. But the conflict was that ain't really who she is. She was trying to be what she wasn't. But long story short, she had to realize that it wasn't that person that the prince fell in love with. When the prince found who that shoe belonged to and saw her in her natural place, who she really was, that's who he fell in love with.
Right.
That's who he liked. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, a lot of people are trying to be what they aren't. So you're not dealing with the conflict. You don't want to overcome the conflict. And until you do that, that's how you get to a happily ever after or a happy situation, is when you deal with who you really are. Because who you really are is who that person's going to marry.
Right.
And I know I just mentioned the whole thing about being in love. Here's my thing. The Bible never tells anybody to fall in love. Nobody. The Bible says walk in love. And my thing is, falling is an accident. And so many people are trying to find the fairy tale. They want to fall in love accidentally when love is intentional. And my thing is, it is because we don't know what love is that we don't know how to find love. If I don't know what it is, I don't know where it's at. And I don't know how to exist or walk in it. A lot of folk, men and women, are trying to fall in love when that is not going to help you at all. Because my thing is, folk fall in love and then fall out of love.
That's right.
But if you truly love somebody, you will always love that person. Even if something happens and you say, I can't be with you anymore, the love is still there. But you might not want to be with that. See, feelings change. And being in love is a feeling. That's why you can't have no happy marriage, happy relationship based upon your feelings. Your feelings change because you change. When on your wedding day, you're going to be head over heels. Oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread. But let me tell you something, 2-3 years down the road, when you start getting into how this person lives, the struggles of life, when life knocked the life out of you, and they're not that same person to you anymore, it goes back to, do you really, really love that person?
Right.
At the core of who they are. Not what they look like, not what they smell like, not this whole romanticized stuff, but do you love this person at the core of who they are? What do they do for you?
Right.
And folk don't exist there.
You're exactly right. Like you said, people want to fall in love, and that's what the excitement is about, falling in love.
Yep.
You have to make that decision to love someone. And once you make that decision to love someone, then that's when you start creating steps and gathering a plan of how we're going to make this marriage work, how we're going to remain, in this marriage. What is it that we need to work on? What is it that we need to do as a couple? But people just think once you fall in love, like that's just it. That's what's going to keep us together is I love them. And that's the worst thing that I don't like to hear from people. well, why do you stay with this man? Or why do you stay with this woman? Because I love her.
Mm.
You know, but they're doing nothing for you. You know, they're not, you know, they're not motivating you. They're not empowering you. They're not pushing you to be greater. They're disrespecting you, but because you love this person, you're gonna remain with this person. That I'm sorry, but that's kind of crazy. That's kind of
That's
crazy
what I.
to me because I
That's for the birds.
yeah, like a relationship is for me is like a soup. You know, it contains things and it's more than just love. You know, but when you start talking about you have to marry people for more than love, that's when other people they start to believe like, okay, I need to marry them for money. Okay, I need to marry them for what they got. That's not what we're talking about, marrying them for money and marrying them for what they got, because it's more to aspects of just love, more to a relationship than just love. You know, that foundation is created with more than just love.
My thing is love is the fabric, right?
Right.
But anybody who sews knows that fabric is nothing without a hem. So
Right.
my thing is joy and happiness have to be the hem. So something has to hold that love together. And that's what people don't realize. You know, Tina Turner said, what's love got to do? You know what I'm saying? And it ain't just about no love. You
Right.
know, yeah, love should go without saying. But what else do you have? Like, what can I build with you?
Right.
My thing at the end of the day, what are we building? If we got this blueprint, well, do we have one, first of all? But once we have it, are you following your own blueprint? You said that in 5 or 6 years, you wanted to be here within your marriage. Well, are you building that within your marriage? My thing is, you better know what type of relationship, what kind of marriage that you want to have, and you have to then partner with somebody who can help you build that design. And my thing is, it is because people don't stay true to that blueprint, if they even make one to start with, that we're having all this, whatever, 3 and 4 years down the line. It's like, man, what am I supposed to do now? Why are we having these problems? Why is this not working out? Well, the truth of the matter is, both of y'all did not commit to the plans that you had. And if you don't, the Bible says that two cannot walk together unless they agree. If we don't have any agreement in this thing, then what are we doing? And people are not thinking rationally.
Right, that's right. You know, like you said, that the love is it's like a cloth. It's like baking a cake. You know, you need that cake batter, but before you even get that cake batter, there's some things that you have to do to it, you know, to make that cake rise. And it's like building a house. You lay that foundation, but if you miss putting something in place, that house is gonna fall.
Yeah,
it's gonna
absolutely
fall. You have that blueprint, but if you don't put enough bricks, or if you don't put enough of something, that house is going to fall. Now you may have a storm come through and it may knock a few windows out. You know, it may chip it a little bit. That can be fixed because you created that foundation to where it's going to stand. It's going to stand through all of that. People don't realize that, Greg.
That's true.
They don't realize that. They're so, and we're not even gonna start talking about those fixer-uppers, because that'd be a whole nother Facebook Live talking about those fixer-uppers. And
yeah.
But I'm gonna look here and see if we have any questions. I'm sorry, I'm moving because I had to charge my phone. Let's see if we have any more questions here, and then we can start coming to a close here. I've got a feeling that they're gonna want part 2. But we're gonna see.
I'm down.
All right, y'all. Do y'all have any more questions before me and Greg wrap it up here? Well, Greg, actually, you can't see any comments, can you? Greg.
I can.
You can see comments?
I can.
Y'all need a show. You actually have a show. Actually, tell them what's going on with you. You know, I love to set the platform for people to gain followers and you know, things like that. So.
Yeah, I do. Me and a good friend of mine, Kadron Mims, we have a show called A Man's Perspective, and it airs on Facebook Live every Monday at 8 p.m. We broadcast from the studio of Elizabeth Ashley and Company here in Durham, North Carolina, and we're relationship topic heavy, and we try to deal a lot of times with things that men go through. We try to help folk to understand, how men process things, how men approach love, relationships, marriage. And the gist of our show is I'm the single man, my friend is the married man. So we try to come from two different perspectives and what a man is really thinking. We've done shows such as The Blueprint, The Broken Man, Why Do Men Cheat, the alpha female. We've dealt with a whole bunch of different subjects. We are doing another live event here soon. We're trying to close on a place now. So we'll be selling tickets for that probably in the next couple of months. But if you're not doing anything, every Monday, 8 p.m. on Facebook Live, my page is Gregory Devon, my name. I can't take any more friend requests, but you can follow my page. I have a like page also, same name.
You when I
So,
grew.
Or whatever.
I want to be like you. So I'm gonna one more time. Do y'all have any questions? Because me and Greg will get off here in just a few. I think we've been going. It's been about an hour. I know we have a delay. I know you said you have a speaking engagement coming up in February, and
I do. I actually be in New Orleans in February at Watson Baptist Church in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm actually on. I'm on something the following weekend too. It's in Wilson. It's called Cupcakes and Conversation. I forget the name of the building, but I accepted that as well. So I will put the flyer on my page this week. But just trying to do some new exciting stuff, and I'm a pastor also, for those who don't know. So I try to have my hand in everything. I love to talk. So if you want to invite me somewhere, let me know.
And it's not just about talking, but you're empowering to people. You're talking the right stuff, good stuff that's encouraging to others, because there's a lot of people that like to talk, and a lot of people don't hear them talk because it's about nothing.
That's true.
It's about the same old stuff. You ever met somebody and they always talk about the same stuff? It's like, oh my gosh, like every time I talk to this person, they're talking about the same stuff, and it makes no sense. But yeah, I think back.
Somebody posted a good question. Do you see that question that says, "What do you think of that show, Married at First Sight?" Have you seen it?
I have seen it. I actually like that show. But the thing with that show is that they have a lot of experts, a lot of people that went to school to for to evaluate people's mental capacity and different things, love, and so it's an actually good show. And I think I seen the first season and the second season, and I think 2 or 3 couples are still together. I think it's a really good show, and I think the reason why some people can't get past it is because they didn't take it. For one, they didn't take it serious. And one of the couples that are still together and they have a baby, they actually had a baby. She wasn't attracted to him at first. She wouldn't even let him touch her. Nothing. And now she's so in love with this man, and she just it's a great thing. I think what they did, that experiment that they did was amazing. A lot of people didn't take it serious though, and that's probably part of the reason why they didn't make it. And then they wasn't attracted, and they didn't give themselves time to and that's something totally different too. People they want to look at you and be attracted to you and things like that. That's like a man want the baddest chick, but it's like having a Jaguar. That car looks good on the outside. Okay. You going through God knows what to keep this car riding just to get you down the street to the door. So he wants that woman that looks good, that's attracted to all the men, and he's going through God knows what just to keep this woman happy, just to keep her from going with the next guy. So but I think if they had to give themselves time to grow, they could have made it. What do you think about
what folks miss about that show? I saw the first season. And I think what people miss is that you got to get past the title and actually look at what's taking place. Wow. No, would I go on the show? No. But what I do take from the show is that they are forcing people to do what we're not doing every day. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening is, yeah, they're getting married at first sight, but doing that, was it 60 days or whatever it is, they are forced to be honest,
Yeah, like 6 or
to
9.
open, yeah, 90 day, okay,
Something like
and to have conversation and to talk about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like what they're doing is doing it in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they're getting married, and then they're being honest, being open, and figuring out, should we stay married?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the lesson in that for those who are watching is, okay, what you should do is what they're doing after they're getting married. That's be honest, be open, be upfront, talk about yourself. We're not doing that.
Right.
You know, there are those who are opposed to internet dating, but I think for those who are successful with it, what they're doing is they are being honest. A good friend of mine met his wife on, what is it, blackfolkmeet.com.
Mm.
You know, he
Black
met her
people.
on that.
Black people.
I mean, I'm sorry. You know, I'm country. I'm sorry. I said folk. But
Where we come
he
from.
met her on that. And they've been married, I think, for like 5 years,
Oh.
and got a child. But the internet dating was not a rushed thing.
Mm-hmm.
They took their time. And I think for those who are successful with it, what, you know, it is not that you're going to have more success. It just forces you to pay attention to stuff that you don't look at sometimes traditionally doing stuff.
Right.
But if folk could just slow down, be open and honest, they'd be fine.
Yep, that with that marriage at first sight, the couple that's still together, their
Mm-hmm.
backgrounds were completely different. She was
Yeah.
raised in a broken home. I think family members were on drugs. Nobody really was doing anything with their life. I think they lived in like a trailer park, and she was a little bit ashamed of her family, you know, because she came from that broken home, and he came from his background. Like, he had this family, they were loving, they all got together, they had dinners and cookouts and stuff, and that's what really got her, because that family gave her something that she didn't have in her family, you know, and it forced
Yeah.
her to, like you said, to come, it forced her to face some of her darkness in her life with her past too, because she had to introduce him to her family. So he had
Right.
to see where she came from. So that's a pretty good thing. Now, what people don't see past that show is that they have coaching and counseling throughout
Right.
the 60 to 90 days. You know, they don't show that, but they have that, you know, so they're forcing them, like you said, to do things that they wouldn't normally do, and they're doing it in reverse order. But the thing with regular people like us is that when you start talking about coaching and counseling, we automatically, especially Black people, they automatically think, ain't nothing wrong with me, what I need counseling for. Everybody
Right.
needs some type of counseling about something,
Everybody.
some type of coaching about something. Be real with yourself, and you'll have a more successful life, more successful
That's right.
relationships, if you just be honest and be real with yourself and know what you need, opposed to what it is that you want.
Yeah. A gentleman says, what is your opinion on a man in his 50s, married twice, and has given up on love, marriage, and women? What I would say to you, brother to brother, now I'm not 50, I'm 36, but what I would say to you honestly is this: you know, every man needs a mentor, and every man needs the man in his life that has been where he's trying to go. And my thing is, don't give up on love, don't give up on marriage. If that's what your heart's desire is, then talk to a man who's already there. Talk to a man who is successful at it. And don't worry about how to find a wife. Worry about being the man that that woman is going to need. My thing is, sometimes our prayer as individuals needs to be, God, prepare me to be the answer to somebody else's prayer.
That's
Because
right.
somebody else is praying for who you are. But the problem is, if we haven't positioned ourselves to be that man or
That's
to
right.
be that woman, then I have to know how to be what that person needs. So I have to prepare myself to be their blessing. Like, we have to be a blessing to the blessing that we're praying for. So my thing is, I would strongly advise you to talk to another man who has been where you're trying to go. Don't give up, and just be, see, men run from failure. When we fail at stuff, we run from it. Don't run away from it. Figure out, what did I do wrong to put myself in that position
Right.
twice? It doesn't make you a bad person. It
Right.
just means that we're all human. We all are on this human experience. We make some unpopular choices sometimes. But the truth of the matter is, your mistakes make you. If it wasn't for some of our mistakes, then we wouldn't be who we are today. And my thing is, so just find you a man that's been where you're trying to go, open up, share your heart with him, and it's got to be somebody that you can trust.
Right.
Because you're going to have to be vulnerable, because you
Right.
can figure out, in my journey, how did I arrive there? You can figure that out, you can avoid getting there again.
Right. I have to add to that is this. You said to be what someone else needs. I think
Yeah.
he needs to be honest with himself, though, and to figure out exactly what it is that he needs, because
True.
he'll find himself in a situationship, and not only that, but he'll find himself in a situation where he has attracted an extreme opposite. And once
That's true.
you know, opposites attract, which can be a good thing, but if you are extremely opposite, then it's not gonna be a healthy situation, because when
Right.
you feel that you need love and you need it coming from here, you'll go and seek that woman that has that kind of love, but it's because she's getting something that she feels that she desperately needs from you, and in the end it's going to be toxic, and it's not going to be a healthy situation. It has to have some type of, though you're opposite, it still has to have some type of balance to it. I mean, Gregor, we're making it probably sound so difficult to people, sounding like it's a lot, but it's really not, because you don't have to think about it that much once you figure out who you are, what you need versus your wants and different things like that. Work on your communication, work on what makes you tick, work on your triggers and different things like that. It's going to go smooth. You know, you're not going to really have to keep thinking about it. You know, it's not a difficult thing. People, it really upsets me when people say, you know, relationships are so hard and they don't, and this and that. It's not that hard. It's just that you're making it hard. You're just you're a difficult person. And something else too, when you said figure out how he ended up in the situation twice. A lot of us don't want to believe that we are part of our own failures. You can say, oh, I was a good husband, oh, I was a good wife, and this and that. Somewhere you went wrong in being a good husband and being a good wife. You know, you can cook and clean, but that nagging sometimes will run a brother off quick.
Woo.
You know, that nagging. You know, you're a good husband. You provide for her, you pay the bills, but you're controlling. She can't talk to her friends. She can't be sociable like she likes to be. So somewhere you've created that problem, and you found yourself in that situation twice. But it goes back to knowing who you are.
Yeah, that's right. You're preaching good.
It goes back. Let's see if we have any more questions. So I think I see somebody said that they think they're going to be alone for a long time because they're too picky. Greg, what do you have to say about that? What's too picky? What would you suggest up on?
Here's my thing. Can a person be too picky? Yeah, you can, if you're talking about superficial things.
Right.
But if you're talking about things that speak to who you are and where you're trying to go, a person does have to be on the same page with you.
That's
so my thing is, before you say you're too picky, don't be so quick to put that label on yourself yet, because you might not be too picky. My thing is, if you know what you want, like if you're applying for a job, guess what? Got qualifications. And if you don't meet the qualifications, you ain't getting hired. So there's nothing wrong with you having qualifications for the job that you're offering somebody else to be in your life in that capacity. Now, again, it ain't about being superficial. It's about being real, honest, and open about what you need in your life. And a person has to be able to commit to what you are expecting of your significant other. If they cannot be that to you, and if that's picky to them, then they're just not the one. But again, like I said earlier, make sure, first of all, that you're living up to your own standard, because sometimes you can be picky with other folk. Like the Bible says, you can see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but you
Right.
can't see the plank in your own. So my thing is, if I spend more time trying to fix somebody else than dealing with me, or pointing out they wrong and not dealing with me, then I am too picky. But if it's not that, then I would say that you're fine, but have your standards, but those standards are for you. You live in them, reflect what you expect, and then you ain't got to worry about garbage coming into your life.
Right, exactly. Like you said, applying for the job, you got to have some type of qualifications. But when you get that job, they're going to train you anyways.
Hello?
They're going to train you anyways. So you're never going to get in a relationship where you don't have to learn what that person like is, or have to learn,
That's right.
what it is that person loves.
That's right.
When you get there, they're going to tell you, once you get in that relationship with them, they're going to tell you, just like, you get your job, you qualify for it, but when you get in that, you don't really like how they doing business. It's like that in a relationship. Once you start getting to know that person, you don't really, found out they like some stuff that you ain't really feeling,
Yeah.
and keep it moving. But when you start talking about you want somebody with some big breasts, and she got to have a nice round booty, she got to be a little light skin, and the hair hanging down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're being too picky, and it's
Hello.
you're never gonna. That's like trying to create a woman, to be. I've done something here. I don't know what I've done. Okay. All right. I've done something. I don't know what I've done here, but let's see if we have any more questions. But yeah, there's a thing with, like you said, Gregory, you've been too picky, especially if you're looking at body type and things like that. A lot of what people don't understand is this too. A lot of things can be worked out.
Yeah.
A lot of things can be worked out. You can't, maybe she's a little overweight. She has a very good sense of humor. She's what you need, but she's a little bit overweight. Can you look past it?
Right.
Have her get in shape.
Right. Hello.
That could be
Planet Fitness.
Have her get in shape.
Yeah.
He wears a lot of weave and you don't like that. Let that woman know she's beautiful without all of that. Tell her to lighten up a little bit. She don't need them many inches hanging. Just a little bit to the a little bit to the shoulder. You good. You don't need those inches flapping. Tell her put a little mascara. Let her know she's beautiful without all of that. And then guess what? You won't even have to deal with all of that.
That's true.
You won't have to deal with all that.
That's true.
Because women, if we get with somebody and he lets us know that we are beautiful, and he wants to see the natural us, and that's who you be with, you'll see yourself gravitating towards that. Wearing less wigs, and you don't have the butterflies in your eyes and all pounded up with makeup, because that man letting you know you don't need all that, sister. I love you. You don't need all that. I want only you, but when it comes to women too, we think that we have always got, well, I don't, but most women think that they always have to compete with another woman. Oh, I love that. Yes, so I'm gonna go get me some Brazilians and have it hang. Like, who did your lashes? I like them, so now I'm gonna go get my lashes. I'm gonna get them thicker. I'm gonna get them longer. Oh, who did your makeup? I'm gonna go get my face beat better than hers. So it's like always competition with another woman. But you're not trying to get that woman. You're trying to get that man. So what really matters is what he's saying, not what Sister Girl is talking about.
Right.
I don't care what Sister Girl is walking. I don't care what Sister Girl has on her feet that she's walking in her journey, on her journey. All that I'm doing now is what I have on my feet and the journey that I'm walking.
Right.
Let's see if we have some more questions so we can wrap it up, Gregory. But I think we're pretty much enjoying this. But let's see. All right, guys. I'm serious this time. Me and Greg gonna get off of here. Do y'all have any more questions? And I want to let you all know that we really enjoy you all sitting in with us tonight for an hour and a half as we talk and speak about things that we really and truly love. We are both like on a hardcore mission to get people into relationships that are healthier and longer lasting. I have no idea where we went wrong in society. I really think that television plays a role in it, a big role in it, and our government somewhat played a role in it. but when it comes to our Black communities, we have so many broken homes that it's ridiculous.
Right.
We have women trying to raise little boys to be men, but raising them to be the man that she doesn't want, but she's raising him to be that man. We have women trusting men that they don't need to be trusting. We have men not knowing how to be men because they were raised by the streets, and that's the only type of man that they know how to be. But we're on a hardcore mission. We've got to change this. And it's not just for us, it's for our children, it's for the future, because that's where it's going to really matter at the end of time. But we have to start somewhere in our community with change. You know, we have to support the good things that we have going on in our community, especially if it's focused towards empowerment and building our Black people up, building up relationships and things like that. My parents were married for 50 years, you know, before my father passed. They were married for 50 years. They had 4 children, no outside children. They had 8 grandkids, 3 great-grands. And as far as we know, they've never cheated on each other. So everything that they did for the first time with each other. They shared the first kiss with each other, you know, held hands, the only person they held hands with. And that's something that we need more of in our community. I may not have 50 years left to be with somebody, you know, 50 years of marriage anyways, but that's what we need to start pushing towards, you know, having the goodness in a relationship like that. Because like you say, back in the day, and Prince actually said this, and I love this part when he said it. He said, back in the day, we had sisters that were able to hang with sisters when their men weren't around, and brothers that were able to hang with brothers when they weren't around their wife. We have that support like that, you know, where families stayed together. But now it's like the quality of women that we have to hang around with our men is not what we need for our relationship. The quality of men, for men to hang when they're not with their wife, is not, you know, good quality of men. It's like when you are on, they're having divorce parties now, you know what I'm saying? And that's a bad thing to have a divorce party. And people are pushing for people, oh, you know, he's no good because he may have slipped up and done something that wasn't so great. They're not pushing for you to work through your problems no more. They're pushing for, girl, be single. You don't need them type of problems. You can take care of yourself. Our community is pushing and empowering women to reject our Black men, to overpower our Black men, to not be with our Black men. They're empowering us to know that we're a strong sister. We don't need our Black men. In fact, we do need our Black men. We need that Black love that we used to have, you know, back in the day. We need to get back to that. And I'm on a hardcore mission. Every time people talk to me, that's pretty much what I talk about. But I do a lot of listening, and it breaks my heart to listen to other Black women, and they feel that love doesn't exist, or they're in a relationship that's not a really good relationship. So it breaks my heart, because that's what we've come to. Yeah. And
if we could learn as Black people to address the disconnect, that's where it starts. I mean, you know, you briefly mentioned it when you talked about, you know, government did play a part in the Black families breakdown. You know, things like Section 8 and affordable housing, what that taught some Black women was, you don't need a man. If you get rid of this man out of your house, I'll give you some money. That's what happened. Because to get that Section 8, you had to remove the man from the house. And what has happened is he never returned. And what has happened is now we don't want to address the disconnect. Now we have so many shows on television that show dysfunction between who? The Black man and the Black woman. And even in shows that we create, it is not just Love and Hip Hop. It is even shows like, and I like this show, even with Scandal, which is on right now. You know, look at that show. Kerry Washington's character has had successful relationships with everyone but Black men, even her dad. That's a dysfunctional relationship there. And the ones that she hates are not the other, it's the Black one, it's her dad. You know what I'm saying? We even have these statistics telling us that all the Black men are in jail. There are more Black men in jail than there are in college. That is not true.
Not true.
What is the truth is, when they do that study, they're talking about all the Black men in jail, but They're talking about those 18 to 25 who are out, who are in college. So you can't compare college age to all the men that are in jail because that'll never be fair. So we've got a lot of women believing this garbage. So you're entering relationships giving men the side eye from the get-go. As men, we're perceiving that in a very negative way. So we have an attitude back towards you. So now we got a train wreck here. And if it's not that, what happens is you got black men telling black women, you don't know what it's like to be a man. Then you've got black women telling black men, you don't know what it's like to be a woman. So we're comparing the struggle, we're fussing and we're fighting. Neither one of us realizes this. We're both black, so we're both struggling. So until we reconnect and address the disconnect, we'll never be able to move forward. That is what is wrong with black relationships today, is that we are fussing, fighting about any and everything because you got black women, oh, I'm independent because Beyonce said so, lemonade getting formation, whatever. Beyonce going home to her husband. You going home to your empty house. So what I would suggest that you do is talk to another woman who's married with some sense in their head. Then you got these black men who maybe you didn't have a dad in your life. You don't know how to be a man. You won't admit that I've got some struggles, some hardships. I need some help. So you moving forward, breaking these women's heart. You know you a suspect guy, but you won't deal with who you are. So you continue to break women's heart, continue to create these children that you want taken care of. And yeah, we both got some accountability in that, but my thing is men were made to lead. And until men rise up, be the men they need to be, and stop with all these dag-blam excuses about what you didn't have, at the end of the day, the Bible says, put those things behind you that so easily beset you. And nobody, man nor woman, has a right in this moment to continue to talk about what your past have done to you. Okay? It's done that and you know it. So do something about it.
Right.
Don't be like that man in the Bible that sat by the pool of Bethesda for 38 years, watched everybody get healed. His excuse was, I had nobody to push me in the pool for 38 years. There are so many people who are 38, 48 years old talking about what happened to you 30 years ago.
Right.
That's why you can't move forward. Do something about it. Get some counseling. If you know your problem, get some help for your problem. Use your intellect and stop relying on these excuses that are becoming crutches why you can't move forward.
Right. Like you said, like we said earlier, you have to know who you are. You have to know your failures. You have to be honest with yourself. Stop looking at television. Stop looking at somebody else's relationship, what's going on in other people's household. Get real with yourself and know what it is that you need, you know, and not just from other people, but what you need for yourself to be able to change, to be able, when I say need for yourself, like you said, figure out what another person needs so that you can be what they need. But it's going to go back to, you have to know what you need for yourself in order to be what someone else needs.
Yeah. And you know what? My thing is this too. Jesus always asks folk this, do you want to be made whole? And that is what people's problem is, that we are some broken individuals. We want our heart's desire, but we don't want to deal with our brokenness.
Right.
And my thing is, if you're broken, then that means that right now it's hard enough for you to deal with you. So why would God send that kind of person into your life for you to attract what you are, another broken person? So then I have another broken relationship, because the truth of the matter is, if two gonna become one is a whole number. So it's not a 0.5 and a 0.5 coming together. It's a whole individual coming together. But you got these broken folk coming together, don't want to admit that they're broken. Well, my thing is this. If you've been spinning this racket for 30-some, 40-some, 50-some years, and you ain't heard the right song yet, guess what? Take the racket off the needle and play a different song.
That's right.
And we don't want to do that. Address what's going on with you. Address where you broken and admit that you're broken, and stop with this stuff that we were taught in the black family about, don't go to counseling, sweep it under the rug. No, it's because we have done that
Mm-hmm.
you got so much drama in the black family. Uncover that rug and let's see what's under it. Let's uncover some of these secrets, because my thing is this: there's some generational curses in folk life that could be resolved if you pulled that mat up and saw what grandmama and great grandmama was trying to cover up. You know what I'm saying? It is no reason that you should have. We're trying to cover up these extra children that you don't know nothing about.
Right.
All these family secrets. That's what's wrong with family today, is that you got these secrets. How I'm gonna trust somebody else that's not my blood if I can't trust my blood? And people are being trained to distrust because, oh, you've been lying to me for 30 years, mama or grandmama. That's why they can't trust James. That's why he can't trust Shaniqua or whoever she is, because his family has been lying to him, or lying to her all these years. Now I don't trust people because my family has all this turmoil, all this drama, all these secrets that now I'm just finding out. So now I'm like, I don't want to get involved with nobody else and being, dysfunction again. But we could talk forever on this stuff.
We sure can, and we're gonna have to wrap it up. But I got something I want to add too.
Come on. I ain't got to order big.
Jay Prince mentioned about the brokenness. We
Yeah.
date people and we never talk about the brokenness in the relationship. It just stays on the surface. Can we go to the movies? Can you buy me this? Can you do me that? Can you do this for me? Or whatever. But it never gets deep enough to the brokenness so that we can get to the root of the problem. And then, we never get to the root of the problem. Then when something goes wrong or things keep going wrong, they never grasp the concept that it's that brokenness down under that Michael Kors didn't heal. Those diamond earrings didn't heal. Going to the movies every weekend didn't heal. Him feeding you didn't heal. They never grasp that concept that it's something deep down in that needs to be discussed, that needs to be brought out. Because in the black communities, growing up, we were taught to pray. You pray about everything and it will be okay. But what they didn't understand is you can pray about it, but there's still some things that need to be done about it.
Hello?
Still need to be done about it.
Hello?
When you're in this relationship with this person and you started praying that this person gets over their drinking, this person gets over, stop dealing with the devil with the lion and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But you're not getting to the root of the problem of why he's drinking. He doesn't get to the root of the problem of why he's drinking. He doesn't know why he's lying. And you just steady praying and you're just not getting to the root of the problem, the brokenness.
Yes. And I'll say this, all of us have a level of brokenness in us. But my thing is this, no matter if you're broken crayon still color.
Right.
And we got to realize that just because you've got some brokenness in you does not mean that you cannot be all that God has for you to be. My thing is, anybody in that Bible who's done something significant was broken at one point in time.
Right.
You look at what Moses had to go through. If you ever study the story of Moses and look at from his childhood up until when he to the Promised Land experience, you will see a story that'll be like, wow. Moses had to find himself, and people don't realize when Moses went back and had to face the Pharaoh, that was his brother. So it was his brother that he had to face to get those people. It wasn't his blood brother, but he was raised in Pharaoh's house all those years thinking that he was blood related to them until God had to show him that ain't your people. Them slaves are your people. And a lot of us are running from discovering who we really are. And it's not till you know who you really are that you can address your own brokenness. And my thing is this, again, broken crayon still color. So even if you're broken, you're still valuable. And there can be some use out of you. Because the truth of the matter is, when you was in kindergarten, you preferred those broken crayons.
They colored better.
Hello?
And if you got a whole crayon, you make sure you broke that crayon because you color it so hard. You had no choice.
I didn't have
broken crayon. Um, yeah, you're definitely right. You know, that brokenness. And when we talked about earlier, when you were giving advice to the guy about 50, being 50 and lost with love and being divorced and things like that. Just finding out what the brokenness is, but you got to be careful. Though we all are broken in some sort of way, that goes back to that extreme opposite. You're broken and you're not willing to heal. So you go get someone else that you feel can heal you. They feel that you can heal them. And now this relationship becomes toxic because you're dependent on this person for that missing piece that needed to be healed before you even got with that person, because they're not healing that aspect. And it all depends on what it, all depends on what it is. That's like women who were raised in an abusive household. They think it's okay. That's some type of brokenness that needs to be healed, because that's not okay. But when they get in this relationship with this man, like he said, he's beating on him, but she think he loves her, because that's the brokenness that she's dealing with. And now he's feeding that brokenness. She doesn't even know that that's that part that needs to be healed before you get into that relationship.
That's right. That's right.
We have
preaching good, man.
We have some things, what they say, prayer will bring things to light, reveal. We're not, let me put this out here. I'm not saying don't pray, because I know Black people get touchy when you start talking about prayer and things. I'm not saying don't pray, but what I am saying that is this: when you pray, there are things that you still have to do. You know, you still have to do something in order for things to manifest. You can pray and pray and pray all day, but if you're not doing anything, it's not gonna
come on now.
That's like you pray that your rent gets paid.
Right.
What you're doing is going to work every single day so that rent gets paid.
Right.
You know I'm saying? You still have to do something in the midst of praying. Yes, prayer, what you put out there in the atmosphere will come back to you. You will be fed that. It will come back. But you still have to do something. That's all that we're saying. I'm not saying don't pray or anything like that. What I am saying is that prayer, you pray, but there are other things that still have to be done. And in the Black community, a lot of people, especially dealing with mental illness and things like that, a lot of those issues weren't faced because they felt that prayer was the answer to those things. If that makes sense.
Faith without work is dead.
Right.
That's the Bible.
Right. So I don't want anybody to feel like I'm saying don't pray. I'm not saying don't pray. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that there are some other things that need to be done in the midst of praying. But once again, like I said, in the Black community, you didn't have to do anything but pray. And where the downfall was, they didn't know that they were doing something in the midst of praying. They just thought, I'm going to pray, and this is what's going to happen. You still had to do something.
Yes.
You still had to go to the doctor for that sickness to see what was going on. You're praying for a cure. You're praying that you get better, but you still have to go see what's going on, because God has placed those things there for those people to be able to help you, but if you're seriously dealing with some things, pray, ask that you are led to somewhere where that healing can be, if that makes sense.
Makes perfectly good sense. And I mean, your statement about it ain't just enough to pray. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the Bible supports that all throughout the Bible. There's a story in the Bible about a paralyzed man who had 4 friends. Well, they didn't just pray for their friend. They knew where Jesus was. So they knew that the man couldn't walk. They picked the man up on his bed and took him, several miles to where Jesus was. They get to that house and they can't even get in because the crowd is so heavy. So these gentlemen climbed the roof with their friend, cut a hole in the roof, put the man in front of Jesus. Jesus says, because of the faith of your friends, your sins are forgiven. But then he healed the man. My point is, these gentlemen didn't just pray, it did work. And when they got to where Jesus was, it looked like, man, this ain't going to work out. They had to work even harder. They had to be unconventional. Pick the man up, cut a hole in the roof, get the man in there. That's hard work. So prayer wasn't enough because what are you praying about And then are you preparing for what you're praying for? My thing is, if you're just praying all day long, okay, that's great, that's wonderful. But again, faith without work is dead. And if you're not preparing for what you're praying for, what are you doing? Like, we don't want to accept, you mentioned mental illness. What we don't want to accept sometimes is a diagnosis. If you don't label something, then you don't know how to treat it. If a person is bipolar, I need to know that so you can treat that. If you've got hypertension, don't say, oh, that's the devil. No, you eating salty food. So my thing is, we can treat this now because I know what it is. Oh, you're diabetic. I know what it is. Let's treat that. And because we don't want to claim stuff, see, if you name it, you can control it. Just like in the Bible, when they named that demon, they could then exorcise it because they called it by its name. If you don't call it something what it is, you will never be able to conquer it.
That's right. So I'm gonna address what Felicia said. She said, yeah, we're talking about relationships. We're talking about relationships, but she's saying that there are times that we do, prayer works. There are times, I'm saying there are times that we do things and we get in God's way. Well, the only way you're gonna get in His way is if you don't pray first and let Him follow and let Him guide you to where you need to,
right.
You need to go. We so quick to jump into things with people before we even consult with whoever we pray to, consult to the Holy Spirit or whatever, or whoever, and you jump into situations with people before you even consult with whoever you pray to. I'm more of a spiritual person, and I believe that spirituality, I'm not a religious person. I'm more of a spiritual person, and you have to be in tune with yourself before you can know where you need to be and who you need to be around and who you need to be with.
Yeah.
So let's see. I got you, Felicia.
And most folk pray, but they don't realize that prayer is not a monologue; it's a dialogue. So if your prayer life only consists of you talking to God, but you're never meditating and letting God speak to you, then your prayer life will never be as it needs to be. Because see, when you ask folk about their prayer life, they'll tell you, "Oh, I've been telling God this, I've been praying about this," but what did you allow God to say to you? You know what I'm saying? Did you be still and know that He is God? Did you allow God to talk to you and to lead and guide you in whatever area that you're praying about? See, people want to do a lot of dictating to God, but you don't allow God to lead and guide you. And that's why sometimes we don't see the fruits what we're praying for.
You're exactly right. I'm trying to see if we got any questions. We're gonna wrap it up for real, Gregory.
Okay.
We're gonna wrap it up for real. But I just wanted to let Felicia know that
yeah.
That can you see her comment? She said, so we're gonna be fair, so be fair both ways. We're talking about relationships. I thought there were things that I could do for my husband. I thought I could get my answers by talking, but what happened was God told me to get out of the way. I did, and He revealed the problem and the solution. This is what I mean by prayer. Did you read that comment? You got that comment?
I did. I didn't, but I agree with it. But her comment speaks to the fact that she did the work. She let God talk to her, and she obeyed God. So I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page. I wanted to put it out there because some people, when you start talking about prayer, they do get a little sticky, thinking that you shouldn't pray, you should do this, and that wasn't what I was saying. So Felicia, I don't want you to feel that I was picking on you or anything like that. But
yeah, your point was just that God ain't no genie. God ain't no lamp, and you rub it and He do something.
Right.
God enables you, and the Bible even says that God is able to work in you to do exceedingly abundantly according to the power that works within you. So if it ain't in you, then won't be nothing that happens. If the power ain't in you to do the work, God ain't no magician.
Right.
We got to do under the Spirit of God. So that's, you got to really do Bible study to understand prayer. It ain't just about you talking,
right?
It's about you listening and then doing.
And understanding. and that goes to the 3 levels of the back to the 3 levels of the relationship. When you're in that getting to know period, in that fellowshipping period, if they don't believe in what you believe in, then you're presented with, do I need to move on to a friendship with this person, or do I not need to? Do I need to just leave leave it where it's at or whatever? But you have to get to know that person to see if you can build a spiritual foundation with them, because that's part of building that's part of building that foundation. You know, what you believe in is part of building that foundation. Is this person spiritual? Is this person religious? Because just because a person believes in something, they might be too religious, and now you done got this relationship with them, you got married to them. Before you know it, you have to change what you believe in, and he's running a chaotic household because of what he believes in. That's part of the 3 levels of relationship. Getting to know that person, seeing if that person's actually a fit into your life, or if you can fit into your life, or if you can have a life with this person, period. But a lot, they don't ever talk about stuff like that. They never talk about what you believe in. They never talk about are you spiritual, or are you religious, what beliefs do you have. They never talk about that until it comes time to marry, and you figure out you got to be covered all the way up to your eyes when you get married. You know what I'm saying? Or he's like dinner with his parents, and you can't wear your arms out, or you've got too much cleavage showing, or you can't wear those nice pair of slacks, the bell-bottom slacks with your little halter top. You figure out you can't wear that. But had you slowed down in the beginning, you wouldn't even put yourself in a compromising position like that. Because depending on what they believe in, then that's where you're gonna know where the submission comes in.
Hello.
You're gonna know he wants you to be a wife, he wants you to be a slave.
Right. And I think I meant to say this earlier, that whole thing about submission, and this is to the man that's watching, like I said earlier, don't be so heavy talking about she need to be submitting to you and you ain't her husband. And then, even if you are desiring to marry her, you better understand that my thing is break the word down. Sub means under. Mission means direction or task, or assignment. So the reality is submission under an assignment. What is your assignment, and do you know it, man? Because in order for her to even trust to submit to you, where are you going? If you want her to be your helpmeet, then help you with what?
Right.
What you trying to do? Where you trying to go? And a lot of men have missed the boat in that, and you thinking I'm supposed to control her. No, you're not. Again, like I said earlier, being a good leader is about getting up under those that you lead and pushing them up. If you can't do that, don't lead anybody.
Gregory, we can't give them all the keys tonight now. We can't give them all.
I'm sorry.
We gotta let them tune in.
I ain't gonna say nothing else.
At a later time.
I ain't gonna say nothing else.
You can't give it all to them in one night.
I'm just gonna sip my tea. Look.
But I'm not even gonna ask if anybody else have questions. I'm not even gonna read any more comments, because if I do, we're gonna keep carrying on and carrying on and carrying on. And it's almost at 2 hours now. But I want to let you all know we really appreciate you all tuning in. Gregory, I really appreciate you, because this was like a last minute thing. Because once I posted that today, everybody wanted to know what I was talking about. So I said, man, I got to give them something. I said, I'll give it to them. I'm going to do a Facebook Live tonight. And then I said, I won't get Gregory. I need Gregory to come on this with me. So I really appreciate that. I want to say thank God that no one of you were home, because you're a busy soul.
Look, the snow got me trapped in the house, girl. Because I ain't going nowhere.
I really, really appreciate that. You all go follow Gregory Devon. He's an amazing person. I've actually met this guy in person, you all. He was on my, I visit, what did I do? I went to your event that you
blurred lines.
Men's Perspective. I enjoyed that event so much. I was like, I got to bring this to Fayetteville. And I did. About 3 or 4 months later, I brought it to Fayetteville. And not only did I bring it was somewhat like yours, but I brought my event to Fayetteville, and I brought you with me to my event in Fayetteville. Now I'm trying to bring that event to Charlotte, and I'm trying to bring you as well to Charlotte, you and Jake.
You let me know.
To Charlotte. I really enjoyed it. I really learned a lot from you guys. I hope you all learned a lot from us tonight. Hopefully we didn't step on any toes. We weren't intended to. We were just trying to put that information out there, most of all being empowered. Normally when you step on people's toes, it's because they know they're guilty of doing something.
Hello.
So if you're guilty of doing it, try to rectify it, try to change it, and you'll see how things start to unfold in your life. It start moving in the direction that you want it to move in. If you're with this man and you are having problems with this man, it's probably more than likely because you're nagging and you're running your mouth too much. If that man is not willing to talk, you're probably running your mouth too much. You're probably not laying it out, making him comfortable to talk to you. You know, you're coming at it, we need to talk. You know, and once you say we need to talk, and the way you say we need to talk, you're shaking your head and you're doing all this extra stuff. He don't want to talk to you.
Yeah. Nope.
He don't want to talk to you. But hopefully we put some good information out there for you all. Hope you all took notes. And if Gregory decides to come back with me on my next Facebook Live,
you let me know.
I'll let you know. And we're going to stay on topic this time. We're going to stay on topic this time. You know, I think we kind of lost them when we started going in different directions, but it all reflects back to getting to know that person, fellowshipping, friendship, relationship, and marriage. So those are good to be stepped on. That is, you're right. Those are good to be stepped on. That's where you know you're growing. You're right. So you all, thank you all so much. I really appreciate the support. I really do. It's really hard to get support from other Black people. But Gregory, I don't know if you know this, but we got up to like 72 people on our Facebook Live.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
We got up to 72 people. So we really appreciate the love that you all have shown us tonight. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we end it?
Briefly, I'll just say, you know, anybody that's listening, you know, don't give up on love. You know, delight yourself in the Lord and give it the desires of your heart. You know, and even if that's not your faith, continue to believe in what you desire for your life, and work towards that. You know, and never allow your life experience to make you think that because I've been through this, I can't obtain what I want to have. And know this too, that as you move forward, everyone who's a part of your history ain't a part of your destiny. So there are going to be some people, places, things in your life that need to stay in 2017 to allow you to be successful in 2018. And don't feel bad about that, because as you matriculate throughout life, you know, you evolve as a person. And as you evolve, you change, your needs change, your desires change, and that's okay. Just stay true to who you are, continue to move forward, and always put your best forward and stay true to who you are. And if you don't know your purpose in life, I would encourage you to define who you are and then define where you're trying to go, so that then your purpose can be defined.
That's right. That's right. Know who you are. Stick true to who you are. Be real with yourself. Things will start manifesting in your life. Things will start unfolding in your life. And you'll start living the life that you truly desire with that person that you want to be. And if you are with that person, that you want to be with, and you want to remain in that relationship with that person, don't continue to work on that relationship. Continue to work on bettering yourself. Encourage them to work on themselves. Get with you another couple that, like you said, get with you another couple that's been married 20, 30, and 40 years. Let them mentor you. A lot of our Black people in the community now is like, I don't want people in my business. I don't want them to know this. I don't want them to know that. But get with an older couple that you trust and let them mentor you. If you are a couple that's been married 30, 40 years, and you see our youngsters out here struggling in their marriage, get with them, take them under the wings. You know, give her insight, give her tips and different things, like give her a few tricks, you know, to show her how to be a better wife and really how to please a man. And if you are the husband, get with that husband and show him how to be a better husband to his wife and be a better provider for his family. Don't be ashamed to say that you're having problems in your relationship. Get with those relationship people mentor you, because that's what it's all about. It's all about making those relationships last, healthier relationships last. You know, and I did see that somebody said the love remains and the feelings change. The feelings do change. You know, love a person, you love a person, and you try to get that back. And somebody also said something about trust. Let me tell you something about trust. Trust can be regained. You know, you can regain your trust. You have to be willing. If you made that decision to love somebody, you have to be willing to work on that trust. You can love someone and work. If you love them, you're going to work on building that trust back up, you know. So it can happen, you all. So thank you thank you, thank you, thank you for the support tonight. And we're gonna go ahead and end it. Talk to
All
you.
right.
Love you guys.
All right, gal. Be good.